Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly for pricing at tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we are discussing the Omega Speedmaster Professional Moonwatch Apollo 15 40th Anniversary Edition. This came out in 2011. It is a 1,971-piece limited edition celebrating the fourth Apollo mission to land on the moon and the first to use the lunar buggy. This watch, however, is tech and spec a standard moonwatch, which means 42 millimeters in stainless steel. It is 14.6 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, 48.5 millimeters, and from end link to end link, the distance across the wrist is 53.8 millimeters with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. On my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, it has an impressive presence. Due to the size of the end links across the wrist, I would recommend this watch on the bracelet for a wrist no smaller than 15 centimeters circumference. If you were to put it on a strap, 14 centimeters circumference would be just fine. It's a fairly thick watch, but it's the cantilevered profile of the bezel that makes it a little tough with a tight dress sleeve, but it'll fit underneath most jacket sleeves. The bracelet is substantial, a 3-link design with polished intermediates. It's primarily satinated, but you can see the outer faces are polished. If you look carefully, you can see that the bracelet has a conforming end link that nicely traces the arc of the case and the slope of the lugs. And by this point, 2011, Omega was building these bracelets with screw-fixed removable links rather than the previous pins and sleeves. The clasp is thick-gauge steel with a thick-gauge single swing arm and a twin trigger release, very similar to the Seamaster Diver 300-meter clasp at the same period, but it doesn't have the fold-out dive extension. Instead, you can see it has two divots, actually two sets of divots that you can use to re-anchor the bracelet inside the clasp to micro-adjust. Use your strap tool, you can move it in or out for fine sizing. You can see this watch remains in excellent condition as the engraving on the clasp remains deep and sharp, and you can see there's a little polished bevel on each side. Rolling around the case, this is the lyre-style lug case that has been a feature of Seamasters and Speedmasters since the first half of the 1960s. And of course, this sheer guard profile for the crowns has been characteristic of the Speedmaster Professionals specifically. Taking a look at the dial, you can see it's surrounded by an aluminum insert. The tachymeter, used with the chronograph, can be employed to gauge the speed of an object, such as a car across a kilometer. We have the signature Hesselite thermoplastic crystal used by NASA and authentically fitted by Omega, because in space, it's more important to prevent a shattered crystal than a scratched crystal. Sapphire shatters, which you can't have in zero gravity, whereas Hesselite tends to scratch but not shatter. And of course, you can always use a pencil eraser to buff out scratches if they do occur. The dial features the red, white, and blue of the mission patch of Apollo 15, the 3-man crew, echoed by the 3 colors red, white, and blue of the mission patch and the American flag. So it's a little bit more lively than a standard Speedmaster Professional dial. It does have white lacquered hands and a matte black base, so in that sense it is very much standard moonwatch. We have plenty of lume, and we'll see it now. An easy watch to read in the dark, chronograph seconds hand included. Now on the reverse side, in the United States, we love our cars, so much so that we took one to the moon. And the lunar buggy was used for the first time during the 1971, and you can see July 30th, 1971, Apollo mission. Now, what's interesting here is if you actually look at that date, that's about 1 month after Elon Musk was born. I bet it burns him to know that government employees put an electric car on the moon while he was still in diapers. It's beautifully illustrated. It's an unconventional Moonwatch caseback, but it has a very conventional LeMania-based Moonwatch heart. So this is the same movement that is based on the LeMania 1873 Bausch and has been flying with NASA since the late 1960s. Caliber 1861 is a manual wind chronograph with a 8-hour power reserve, 18 joules. It has a beat rate of 6 beats per second, also known as 3 hertz or 21,600 vibrations per hour. It uses a combination of a cam function cycler and a lateral clutch coupling, and that makes it very tough. It's extremely shock tolerant, And it actually has such finely tuned cam chronograph action that just by the sound and the feel, I would swear this is a column wheel. That is the state of Omega and Lamagna's technical might these days. The watch is not a highly aquatic timepiece, however, it is water resistant to 50 meters. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.